What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show brought to you by Front Yard Fantasy here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John McGarofalo, Joey Wright, and we got a full squad here today for this Friday game of Fantasy Fortune. Joining us live from New York is our friend and the dude behind Big Dogs Gotta Eat. We got Nick Arcolano with us. What's up, Nick?
It's good. I wanted to just bark at you, Simon. I don't know why. Something came over me. I decided not to. So we're going to have a good show. It would have been a terrible show if I started off doing that. Sometimes I can't control my intrusive thoughts.
Did JL tell you I'm into that, or did you just read that in my face?
I heard you. You were the first one in the office today. I heard you barking in the corner, and I was like,
does it everywhere he goes.
I thought I was alone. Well, guys, also joining us today, we got your favorite Front Yard Fam Friday member, Tim, right here. And today his name is No Brewski, left behind. You doing your best, Tim?
There you go.
Happy Friday. Man, even the tall one.
Jeez.
Wait, Tim.
Oh God. Oh, it's happening.
Oh,
Wow. That was really well done.
right.
Nice try. Wow.
Wildly impressed. Guys,
Friday.
also joining us today, we have a special guest, one of our great friends, the Dynasty dude over at Football Guys and the creator of Devy Royale. We got Jeff Bell with us. You can find him on Twitter at For Whom J Bell Tolls. It's right there below his handsome face and in the description of this YouTube video. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us.
Yo, it's great to be here. Anytime I can be with FYF, I dropped the ball and happy to be on. So thank you so much for having me on. It's been far too long, but here we are again.
How's
I like the idea that you just drop the ball and whatever it is that you have going on in your life to come play games with us.
Sorry, honey. The anniversary dinner has to wait. I've got FYF today.
Your kids can wait at the daycare.
Yeah. Someone else.
Sorry,
They're
honey.
at the daycare right now, so we can get them when they're done.
I know it's your first dance recital tonight, but I have to go solve word puzzles about fantasy football athletes with a bunch of 20-something-year-old jackasses.
I'm on FYF, so I got to go.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate you taking the time today. Nick, Tim, Joey, JL, and I guess myself too. We're all excited to be here. We have an awesome game plan. I got some sick puzzles ready, and we got some people in the chat ready for today's show.
Let's say hi to
We
them.
got Dustin down here, not going to be watching today at a funeral, but hashtag Team Joey. So Joey, you got Dustin's support, but he's leaving. We got Grim fan in the chat. What's up, Grim? So let's go. Hashtag Team Chat. The contestants. Also, we got Jay in here saying Simon isn't used to being on East Coast time. That is true. So to everyone that was looking for our show an hour earlier, that's because New York City does not run on the same time as San Antonio, Texas. The clocks change. We got the real Jim Shady in here saying Nuke to Browns reunited with Watson. Heard it here first. Jeff, I want to throw this one to you. How would you feel if DeAndre Hopkins went to Cleveland?
Surprised. I would feel very surprised. I do not think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to go to Cleveland. I think it's going to be either Kansas City or Buffalo, to be honest with you. It kind of seems to be leading that direction, but I would be very surprised if it was Cleveland.
Nick, is it arrow up or arrow down for Hopkins if he ends up in Cleveland? And are you agreeing with Jeff? It's unlikely.
I agree it's unlikely, but I think anything has to be an hour up from Arizona right now with Colt McCoy there. I don't think Kyler's going to play much this year, so I'd like the reuniting with Deshaun Watson, but I don't think it makes much sense right now.
No, and you're not wrong. Anything is an upgrade from Arizona this season. I get shocked every time I go and look at any of the sportsbook lines, the futures lines for teams. They hate Arizona. It's shockingly below every other team. Like, not a little bit. Like, it is miles below. We got Craig in the chat coming in with what are Jeff's favorite type of pants? Bell bottoms. Boom. We got Albert in here saying hello, everyone. What's up, Albert? Welcome, man. We got
Albert.
Dave in the chat with the hello,
Dave.
friends. And our favorite chat cat with the happy packed FYF Friday, fam.
Effing yow.
Also, the real Jim Shady in here saying, Nick, let Simon use his office. How nice. No, he didn't. Jail just trapped him in there, and I snuck over real quick. The second the show's over, I'm running.
Very difficult.
He locked himself in there, and I don't have the keys.
Just been barking the whole time.
Yeah.
The first thing you do when you lock yourself in an office is establish a piss corner. So Nick, I hope you don't mind. It's the one facing the street right against the window. I figured that would be a great one. We got Swamp in the chat with the A. What's up, everybody? What's up, Swamp? Welcome in, my friend. And before we get into our game, Graham had a question for us that I wanted to pose to our panel. Graham said columnist Adam Sheen recently reported the Saints as well as the Falcons as his two Cinderella teams this year to jump on the bandwagon with. Jeff, I'll throw this one to you first. If you have to pick a bandwagon team this year, a Cinderella bandwagon team, which team could make some unexpected noise?
I mean, the Falcons would be the first team that comes to mind. The addition of Bijan Robinson, they beefed up that defense. I think that they're going to be a competitive team. They were right at the end of the NFC South last year, so I think they're a great choice.
Joey, do you have a different team that you would pick as a Cinderella team?
I think it's got to be a team from the NFC. Although the only team that can come to mind right now is an AFC team, and that's the Colts. If Anthony Richardson is the real deal and breaks out in season 1, hey, stranger things have happened. The Colts, they play in a pretty weak division. They've only got Jacksonville really to compete with. That's a wild card team that can make a run.
Nick, no Falcons, no Colts. You have to pick another Cinderella team. Who are you picking?
That's not fair because the Falcons are my team. I've been saying that the Super Bowl runs through Atlanta for 3 years now. And now that I actually find and believe that we can be good, I'm not allowed to pick them.
Immediately taken away.
That's ridiculous. All right.
Team you don't care that much about.
Let's pick the.
Probably have less to say about.
I don't care about any other team in the NFL besides the Falcons. Can you come back to me?
100%. 100%. We'll come back to you maybe after this game, maybe never. And you guys might never know a team that Nick actually likes besides the Falcons. But we brought this squad here today to play some Fantasy Fortune, our take of Wheel of Fortune. Before we get into that, though, a couple reminders. First and foremost, if you're not already following our guest, Jeff, make sure you go and do that right now. You can find him on Twitter at For Whom J Bell Tolls, and you can check out his work over at Football Guys. After you do that, head on back over here to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell. We are live every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, our new old time. And if you want to see some of the stuff we've been working on this weekend here with Nick, some of the stuff he's been creating with Alex and Noah and the BDGE squad, make sure you check out Big Dogs Gotta Eat. You can find Nick on Twitter at Nick Ricolano as well. So check out all that stuff. You guys ready to get into some Fantasy Fortune?
I'm feeling extra dumb today.
Let's do it. There is a little twist to today's game that I have not announced yet. Due to some technical restraints, there's going to be one team competing against a bunch of individuals. The live NYC team sitting from the same room. JL and Nick, you guys are going to have to make your decisions together throughout this game. You're solving together. You're answering questions together. Besides that, everything else is going to remain the same. Jeff, you are going to – the order for this game is going to be Jeff, Tim, Joey, and then Team JLN. It's like JSN, just worse. And I'm going to explain how this goes, and then we're going to get started. The game is Fantasy Fortune. If you've ever seen the popular TV show Wheel of Fortune, then you know mostly how it works, but we're getting rid of the wheel, and instead contestants are going to be answering 50-50 NFL or fantasy-related trivia questions. On your turn, I'll throw a question to you. If you get it right, you get to guess a consonant that you think appears in the puzzle. Every instance of that consonant that shows up, you're going to earn $500. Now, on your turn, you can do that up to 3 times in a row. That is question right, consonant right. After 3 in a row, right, we're going to move on to the next contestant. You'll get 5 seconds to solve. If at any point during your turn you get either of those things wrong, question or consonant, your turn is immediately over. There are 2 other actions you can take on your turn before a question has been asked. You can choose to buy a vowel, which is going to cost $100 per instance of the vowel that shows up, or you can choose to solve the puzzle, which is going to earn you a minimum of $1,000 into your total bank. It'll be $1,000 or what you have in your round, whichever one is higher. We're going to go like this until we run out of time or run out of puzzles. Whoever's got the most money at the end of this will be our champion, and we will fax you some nice, fresh, unexpired Kohl's cash to the fax number of your choosing within 48 business hours. You guys ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got some more people in the chat ready for today's show. Andrea in here said, hi, everyone. What's up, Andrea? Welcome in.
Andrea.
And also we have Jay in here wanting to know, why is Tim wearing a sweater under his tank top?
It's actually a turtleneck if I shave it properly.
Hot. All right, well, guys, everything I just explained about the rules is going to change for this first puzzle. Instead of taking turns, answering questions, and all that nonsense, I'm just going to slowly reveal letters in this player's name. It is an NFL player. Whenever you think you know who it is, say your name. First person to buzz in is going to get to take a guess. If you get it right, you're going to earn $500. Angel gets to go first in the first actual puzzle. Nick and JL, I'm going to hamper your team. Just Nick is going to be playing this toss-up, but you will play together outside of toss-up rounds. You guys ready?
Yes.
Kind of.
Let's do this. Say your name whenever you think you know who the player is.
Oh, Tim,
Jeff.
Devontae Adams.
I did hear Tim's name first, Tim, and it is Devontae Adams. That's going to earn $500
All right.
into your round bank.
I can retire. I'm good.
And you're going to get to go first. Before we move on, Tim, do you think Devontae Adams' upside is changed or limited at all with a new quarterback there in Las Vegas?
Nah, I mean, I think he's pretty much quarterback proof. I think he's got a couple seasons of being probably the most talented receiver in the NFL. So, yeah, I'm not super concerned. I think he's going to be fine.
Jeff, in Dynasty, what are you doing with a guy like Devontae Adams, who's aging, new quarterback situation, but clearly still performing at an elite level?
Probably waiting until the middle of the season to trade him and find that contender that you can grab a first and a younger wide receiver for. Ideally, I don't think right now is the right time to trade veterans, but I don't know if you can get name value on Adams.
Go ahead and cash that in. John Luke, are there any other receiving options in Las Vegas that you're drafting in fantasy this year, not named Devontae Adams with Darren Waller out of the picture?
Yeah, I just drafted some Hunter Renfrow. I think he'll provide that value, that nice floor value that Hunter Renfrow does. The dude is just good at football. I know he doesn't look like he's good at football, but I think we can say confidently at this point, Hunter Renfrow is good at football.
You watched him last year?
I watched him last year.
Feels like you got a little bias going on with that Clemson jersey.
Nah.
Jacoby Myers? Yeah.
We're having some technical difficulties with the microphones down there, but while we're figuring out why these guys are turning into robots, Joey, do you agree with him that Hunter Renfrow could have some fantasy value going into next season, or are there any other Raiders receivers you're targeting?
No, I mean, I wouldn't even say I'm targeting Renfrow, but he definitely could be something. I mean, Waller's gone now, so that middle of the field's opened up a little bit. I like Renfrow late round, though.
Renfrow late round. All right, well, Tim, you've got $500, an early lead in this one. That is going to also give you the first turn, meaning the order will be Tim, Joey, JLN, and then Jeff. You guys ready to go into this first puzzle?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Puzzle number 2 coming your way. And this is your first category. This category is offensive coordinators. So this is a crossword puzzle of the last names of offensive coordinators in the NFL. I'm just going to need you to tell me the 4 names that are in this puzzle. It can be in any order since it is crossword style. That's how you're going to solve this one. Okay, Tim, you are up first. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve, or those are your only options?
I don't think I could name 2 offensive coordinators, so I will need a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. Okay, Tim, my first question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? And all of my fantasy points questions will be PPR. Who had more PPR fantasy points? Was it Amon-Ra St. Brown, or was it T. Higgins?
Ooh, give me Amon-Ra.
It was Amon-Ra, a top 7 wide receiver. Which letter would you like?
I guess we'll go with an S.
An S. There's one S in this puzzle, Tim. I accidentally made it worth 1,000, so we're going to change that. But
dang.
You're going to get $500 in your round bank. With that showing up, what would you like to do now?
I need another question.
Okay, my question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points? Was it Jacoby Myers, or was it Michael Pittman Jr.?
Pittman.
It was Pittman, Tim. Nice job. Which letter would you like?
How about we'll go with an L.
An L. There are no L's in this puzzle, which means, Joey, we are on to you. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve?
I would like to saw a question.
You would like to saw a question? My question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Deebo Samuel, or was it Darius Slayton?
I'll still say Deebo.
It was Deebo Samuel by about 60 PPR fantasy points, even with the missed time. Which letter would you like, Joey?
A C.
A C. There are no C's in this puzzle, which means
I could clear that off for everybody.
Thanks.
You know, we are going to switch up the order here while we're figuring this out. Jeff, you are up next. Would you like a question, or do you know the names of these 4 offensive coordinators?
Give me a question.
Okay. My question for you is who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it DK Metcalf, or was it Drake London?
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf's 100% right, Jeff. Which letter would you like?
Give me an N.
An N, as in no way there's not an N up here?
Yeah.
There's 3 N's. That's going to earn you $1,500, Jeff, into your round bank. Would you like another question? Would you like to buy a vowel, or would you like to solve?
Give me another question, please.
Okay, another question coming your way. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Jahan Dotson or was it George Pickens?
I think Jahan Dotson had more points.
I am sorry. It was George Pickens with 166.5 to Jahan Dotson's 130.6, which means, Tim, we have made a full circle back to you.
Great.
You ready for your next question?
Yeah.
Or do you want to solve?
I can't solve. Not a
Okay.
chance.
Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Jerick McKinnon or was it Rashad White?
McKinnon, baby, ride those wheels. Let's go.
McKinnon is absolutely correct, Tim. Which letter would you like?
I don't know. How about a T?
A T. There is one T in this puzzle, going to
God.
earn you an additional 500. What would you like to do now? You want to buy a vowel? You want a question? You want to solve?
Yeah,
You want to quit?
I would like to pass. Can I buy an A?
You may buy an A. And there's one A in this puzzle. That's going to cost you
pulling
100,
teeth.
Tim.
Yeah.
I'll buy another vowel. E.
An E. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 E's. Going to bring you down to 500.
I'll take a question. I don't know any of these people.
Okay. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season, Tim? Who had more PPR fantasy points? Was it Leonard Fournette or was it Ezekiel Elliott?
Oh, gross. Give me gross. Give me Zeke. Ugh.
Tim? It was Leonard Fournette with more PPR fantasy points, unfortunately, which means we are on to Joey's turn. Joey, you ready for your next question, or would you like to solve?
Isn't the NYC team get to try at this?
They missed their round, so they're gonna jump right back in the order where they belong.
So
I cannot. I thought it was disrespectful too, but Simon's just a tyrant. So what are we gonna do? I'll take a question, please.
You give me a little bit of power, and I immediately sprint with it.
I know.
Here's your question, Joey. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Najee Harris or was it James Conner?
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris is correct, and that one was close. Which letter would you like, Joey?
Thanks for making it close. I'll take a B.
A B. There's one B in this puzzle. Going to add 500 to your round bank. Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like to solve?
I'll question.
Okay. My question for you is: who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Aaron Jones or was it Miles Sanders?
I'll take actually Miles Sanders.
I'm sorry, Joey. It was Aaron Jones.
It was
who had more
Aaron
PPR
Jones,
fantasy
actually.
points.
It's Aaron Jones.
Great job. Yeah. Team NYC, you guys are up. You want a question? You want to solve, or you want to quit?
You know it?
I'd like to quit.
I would also.
Okay.
I don't know it. You?
I don't know it either. I need a question.
Here's your question. Who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Who had more PPR fantasy points? Was it Devin Singletary or was it Isaiah Pacheco?
Singletary or Pacheco?
I think
Pacheco, right? It's got to be. Yeah.
Let's go Pacheco.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It was Devin Singletary with more PPR fantasy points, which means, Jeff, back to you. We've made a full lap. Would you like a question? Would you like to solve or would you like to buy a vowel?
I'll solve it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
thank God.
So
Let's see it.
I've got Monken, Nagy, Getsy, Bieniemy.
That is 100%
Yes.
right. Monken, Nagy, Getsy, Bieniemy. That's going to earn you $1,500, Jeff, and catapult you into the lead.
Can we give Jeff an extra 500 for getting us away from that category?
Yes, thank you.
All
Please.
agree on the
Thank
panel
God.
to do that. Thank you.
This will be my sole contribution to the show, so I'm just noting it now.
Jeff, I feel like on this show, we've talked about the Ravens offense and the Monken hiring at length, but I wanted to ask you about Bieniemy's effect on this Commanders offense. Do you expect positive things for maybe Sam Howell or whoever's going to be the quarterback there with Bieniemy running the offensive side?
I do. I think what Bieniemy is going to do is simplify the game for Howell. I think they're going to use a lot of, if you look at what the Chiefs did at the end of last season, a lot of underneath routes, a lot of getting wide receivers in space and allowing them to create, or getting Jerick McKinnon in space, allowing him to create. I think Antonio Gibson steps into that role and get him out in space, and that can be trouble for defenders. I think they have very good wide receivers that work in that system well. With Curtis Samuel can create after the catch. So I think Jahan Dotson can work in that role. And then you've got McLaurin able to stretch the field, but really able to do a little bit of everything. So I think it's going to be a very nice system for Howell to kind of ease his landing into being a quarterback there. But it'll be open to question whether or not he can hold the job.
Howell's the player that I can't tell if I'm buying in because I want to or because all the signs are pointing that way, because signs are pointing that direction, but I also just want to believe that he's going to be the guy, that he's going to be fantasy relevant. Nick, are you buying into the Antonio Gibson hype that we're getting with Bieniemy there in Washington?
I'll buy Gibson, but not because of the hype. I feel like we kind of know what he is as a runner. I just don't think he's a very good runner. He doesn't have very good vision. He's super athletic, and the roles were so clearly defined last year where it was almost like in Kansas City where it was like Pacheco and McKinnon. That's similar to Robinson and Gibson, where Gibson has so much of the passing down role. I also think Brian Robinson got a lot of carries, but he wasn't that good last year. So I think there's a world where Gibson takes a little bit more of that running work back in Washington. So I guess I could see the upside. It's hard to buy into upside of players that you don't actually think are that good. But I like Gibson as a third down guy, as a pass catching guy in like PPR.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm buying into the Christian McCaffrey comps though. Tim, which one of these guys has the best name just objectively?
Bieniemy. That one's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a pretty
it just
sick
flows
name.
right. Yeah.
The IE followed by another IE. It just comes right on out. That's
He's
easy.
solid competition here though. Munkin and Getsy.
Getsy feels official. Know what I mean? I feel like that would like a seal, the Getsy seal of approval.
It's like you can buy some arts and crafts on Getsy.
Do you think he's ever said, "Get to your act together"?
Getsy reminds me of Gatsby, so I'm sure he throws great parties. Like you just see him like in a window drinking a cocktail. That's Getsy.
Or he's just like the Kirkland version of Gatsby.
Yeah.
It's just like the Costco version. And you know what? I don't want to be trash talking Costco. So it's just cheaper and less pretentious, and there's more alcohol than at the other parties. I'm in.
The Sam's Club version, then. No.
I want to shout out Craig in here. About 7 minutes before our contestants here getting it with Munkin, Nagy, Getsy, Bieniemy. Nice job in
Great
there,
job
Craig.
cheating, Craig. Well done.
Chat was all over. Also, Born to Laugh in here wanted to follow up on that Cinderella team's question, saying you can't take out the Lions this year as a Cinderella team to do some damage. We're excited about that Lions offense.
Yeah.
Joey, are you buying into them maybe as a complete team?
Yeah, I don't even think they're a Cinderella at this point. I mean, we watched what they did down the stretch last season. They looked fantastic. One of the best teams in the NFL. They almost made the playoffs. If not for a stumble out the gate of the season, they would have easily gotten a wild card. And who knows what they could have done from there. So, yeah, I think they're out of the Cinderella conversation. They are favored to win the NFC North still, right, Simon? We checked yesterday.
The only teams favored more than them to win the NFC are the Eagles, the Niners, and the Cowboys.
Super exciting offense and a really good defense. Like, I'm in on the Lions this year for sure. I love Jared Goff, especially for fantasy. A late round quarterback. Absolutely. Well, it's that's one of those teams where it's just going to be disappointing if the offense doesn't pan out the way we're all expecting it to. All the pieces they've added, the Dan Campbell love. But we'll see what happens. We're going to load up this next puzzle. Jeff has a nice little lead here. And because Jeff got that one right, that means Tim is going to go first on this puzzle. And we've got rhyme time. It's going to rhyme, and it probably has an NFL player's name in it. We've had shopping at Paxson with Lamar Jackson, playing clarinet with Jacoby Brissett, different variations of a player name, and there's some rhyming words in there. Tim, you're up first. You want a question, or do you want to no-letter solve this puzzle?
Yeah, I think if I tried to no-letter solve, I'd be wildly wrong. So let's get a question.
Okay. Tim, here is your first question. Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Damian Pierce or was it Khalil Herbert?
Oh, give me Pierce.
Pierce is absolutely correct. Which letter would you like?
T.
T. There are 2 T's in this puzzle. Going to add 1K to your round bank. What's next, Tim?
Question, baby.
Okay, who had more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Amari Cooper or was it TJ Hawkinson?
Cooper, I'd say.
Cooper is correct. Tim, which letter would you like?
S.
S. There are 2 S's in this puzzle. Staying consistent, another grand. Would you like to buy a vowel? Would you like to solve, or would you like to move on to your third and final question?
Let's go another question. Let's get some money.
In 4-point per passing touchdown and PPR, who scored more fantasy points last season? Who scored more fantasy points last season? Was it Garrett Wilson or was it Tua Tagovailoa?
Oh, God. Tua, please.
Tua
Please.
is correct,
Yes.
but it's fairly close. Which letter would you like, Tim?
Oh God, let's not mess this up. How about an R?
An R. If there is at least one R up there, Tim, you're going to bank all this money. And there are
Yes.
4 R's going to earn you $2K. You are going to bank $4,000, and you got 5 seconds to solve. I'll give it to you starting now.
Yeah, I can't. R star.
R. Tim, unfortunately, that is incorrect. You forgot at least one star in there. Joey, it is your turn.
Question, please. Question, yeah.
Also, we got Kenny in here thinking he's being clever, saying, have you noticed the correct answer is always the first option? See if that works out for you, Kenny.
I've not noticed that.
Probably will.
All right, Joey, you're up. Are you
Wait,
ready
let's
for
test Kenny's theory. Whatever
Ready?
name you say first is the answer. Let's test his theory.
Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Jerry Jeudy or was it Devin Singletary?
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy is correct, Joey. Which letter would you like?
I was pot committed. I had to go Jerry Jeudy. I'm gonna go the letter N.
The letter N. There are 2 N's in this puzzle, bringing you up to $1K.
I'll take a question.
Okay. In a 4-point per passing touchdown PPR league, who scored more fantasy points last season? Who scored more fantasy points last season? Was it Jacoby Brissett or was it Zay Jones?
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones is correct, Joey. Which letter would you like?
H. Zay Jones had a lot better season than I keep remembering. I just need to answer Zay Jones every time. H.
Zay Jones had almost 200 PPR fantasy points last year.
If Kirk or Ridley goes down, he's a really good option to take late round. All
Joey,
right.
there are 2 H's, going to add another $1,000, bringing it to 2,000. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels. You can solve, or we can move on to your third and final question.
Third question.
Okay. Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Russell Gage or was it David Njoku?
David Njoku.
David Njoku is correct, Joey. 3 for 3. You're going to bank this money as long as this letter shows up.
Oh, God. See,
there are 4 T's following up with Tim. Exactly the same. You're going to bank this 4,000. You've got 5 seconds to solve.
Christ on the commode. I don't know.
Christ on the commode. That was the next puzzle. We're going to have to skip it. But we are on to Team NYC. Joey. That's neither person's name down there. Jail and Nick, you guys ready for your question? You want to solve or that's it?
Let's get a question.
Yeah, I think we need a question.
Okay. Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Cam Akers or was it Christian Watson?
Cam Akers.
No. Hold on.
That was a pending answer.
Christian Watson.
Which one's the final answer?
Whoa.
Whoa. Someone else.
Christian Watson.
Final answer?
What do you want to go with?
I think it's Cam Akers.
I think it's Christian Watson.
Really? He only had those 5 touchdowns. That was it.
Scored 8 touchdowns in like 6 games.
But that was it.
Akers had 4 good games. He almost got cut out of the NFL.
I know, but towards the end, he got used a lot.
He had 100 yards, but he wasn't scoring like Watson
All right,
was.
we'll give this one to
What's
you.
it going to be, guys?
Watson had 2. Watson
Jump
is
ball.
Watson. Final answer.
Jump ball. We'll go with Watson this time,
final answer.
But jump ball arrow, possession arrow, my direction.
Well, JL, Nick saved your ass. It is Christian Watson
Sir.
by quite a little bit. Nick and JL, which letter would you guys like?
Which letter you want to go with?
M as in mom.
M as in mom. There are 2 M's in this puzzle. Going to add $1,000 to your round bank. You want to buy a vowel? You want to take another question, or do you want to solve?
Let's buy a vowel.
Okay.
Let's buy an let's buy an I.
There are 4 I's in this puzzle. We're going to subtract 400.
What on earth is this?
What do you want to do now? Your options remain the same.
We would like to solve.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Jamar Chase came in first place in the big race.
Wow.
Jamar Chase came in first place in the big race because that dude's fast as fuck, boy.
Nice.
Fast as fuck, boy.
John Luke, that is absolutely correct. You guys are going to earn the minimum of $1,000 down there into your bank.
very disappointing. Everybody else got 4,000. I feel like
Hey, we
Herculean
needed that
lift.
momentum. All right. Now I'm ready.
yeah, I'm exhausted.
No more of that Cam Akers shit. Let's go.
Possession arrow fully on Team New York. So I did want to throw this one to you guys, JL. Since you solved that one, I know you're a big T. Higgins fan. Do you view T. Higgins as having similar upside to Jamar Chase? Because their draft cost is multiple rounds apart at this point, at least in redraft.
Similar.
Or is this is it 1A, 1B, or is this 1 and 2?
It's 1A, 1B for sure. I would say they have similar upside, but Jamar Chase is the clear pick out of the two. His upside is a little bit higher. But I think T. Higgins can be that 1B in that situation. And I think his outcomes are fairly similar. They're going to overlap with Jamar Chase.
Joe, you agree with JL here?
Yes.
Wonderful analysis on that one, guys. We're going to move on to our next puzzle. Tim in the lead after that one. Joey right behind him. Jeff in third. Team New York in last place, but they got the momentum after solving that one. Our next puzzle category is same initials. These are going to be two players, first and last name, that have the same first initial, last initial. That's all the clue that you're going to get. After JL solved that one, that means it is going to be Jeff's turn. Jeff, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like a question, please.
Okay. Before we hit that question, we had Scott Fish in the chat get that one right. With Jamar Chase came in first place in the big race. This guy named Scott. He's this person who comes into our chat every once in a while.
We should invite him on the show sometime. Well, I don't know. We don't ever do. Okay.
He's annoying and bald. All right, Jeff, you ready for your first question?
Yes.
Person.
Here we go. We're going to move away from fantasy points, and I'm going to ask you about rushing yards. What I want to know is who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Kenneth Walker or was it David Montgomery?
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker is absolutely correct. Which letter would you like, Jeff?
Give me an S.
An S. There are no S's in this puzzle, unfortunately.
That's rough.
That is rough.
Brutal.
Tough luck. Tim, it's your turn. Question?
Yeah.
Also, I am so sorry in the chat. Anna Shimek in the chat actually got it before Scott Fish, and I came in here giving credit to Scott. My apologies, Anna.
Nice job, Anna.
Tim, here's your first question. Who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it James Conner or was it Tony Pollard?
Ooh. I don't know. What do you think? Let's go with James Conner.
I'm sorry, Tim. It was Tony Pollard by about 200 yards, which means Joey, we're on to you. Question or solve?
I'm so close to solving. Wait. No, it's not. Okay, I need a question. Sorry.
What's happening over there?
We're trivia edging Joey.
That's why I don't wear pants on the show.
Here's your question, Joey. Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Jalen Hurts or was it Deonta Foreman?
Jalen Hurts.
I'm sorry, by about 150 yards. It was Deonta Foreman with 914 to Jalen. Jalen Hurts 760.
Yeah. Well, it's easy for you. Got the answers in front of you, Simon.
Yeah, 100%. I'm fully Trebek in this. Team NYC, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Here's your question. Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Daniel Jones or was it J.K. Dobbins?
Daniel Jones had like
He had over 700.
like 742.
Yeah.
It's in my head.
Well, Dobbins came back and had a couple strong games at the end. I feel like he didn't get the 700.
I don't think he got the 700.
Yeah, let's go DJ.
DJ is absolutely correct. 708 to J.K. Dobbins, 520. Which letter would you like?
Let's go with the.
I feel like double names have.
That
too
was
risky?
the exact letter I was thinking of. Let's go J.
Run it.
J. There are no J's in this puzzle.
Why did you do that?
John Jones. Wait, that doesn't fit.
Jeff.
Jeff.
His name can no longer be in this puzzle, even though Jeff Bell would have fit prior to that guess. We are back to you. Would you like a question?
Yes, please.
Here we go. Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Raheem Mostert or was it Miles Sanders?
Miles
Miles Sanders is correct with a, if you weren't paying attention, surprising 1,269 yards last year. Which letter would you like, Jeff?
T.
T. There's one T in this puzzle. Going to add 500 to your score. You can buy a vowel. You can take another question or you can solve.
Another question, please.
Okay. who had more rushing yards last season? Who had more rushing yards last season? Was it Justin Fields or was it Tyler Algier?
Justin Fields.
Fields is correct. Which letter would you like?
Stop.
I think Tim figured
Are
it
you
out.
an N?
An N?
Yes.
There are no N's in this puzzle, Jeff. Tim sounded like he solved it there.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what you'd like to do, Tim?
Yep, I would like to solve it. This is Cole Kmet and Cooper Kupp.
Tim, this is Cole Kmet and Cooper Kupp with only a T on the board.
Head.
Nice
buddy.
job.
The initials were together in the same name,
I was on CD Lamb. I was just
Oh,
going through every team.
like CC.
I had no idea.
Tim, that is going to add $1,000 to your score, extending your lead ever so slightly here. 5,500. Joey right behind you at 4,000. Jeff right behind him. Before we move on, Tim, Cooper Kupp got injured last year, but looked like the same Cooper Kupp before he went down. People are down on this Rams team, but all reports say Matthew Stafford's going to come back healthy. Is Cooper Kupp a value? Does he have number one overall fantasy wide receiver still in him?
Yeah. I mean, he's sounding like he's healthy. If Stafford's coming back healthy, it's literally just him and maybe Akers if you believe in him at all. So, yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp has that path to the number one overall. So, I mean, if you could get him in a redraft league at a steal in the middle of the round, oh, yeah, I'm going to pick up a lot of Kupp this year in redraft.
Jeff, I see you nodding along. Are you in agreement that this negative narrative surrounding the Rams isn't necessarily going to affect Cooper Kupp's fantasy value?
I mean, they're not going to stop anybody, and we know where Matthew Stafford's going to go with the ball.
Absolutely.
Per game basis, Kupp was number one last year. He had a per game basis higher than Justin Jefferson did, despite Jefferson threatening the records. So, yeah, I think it's especially a little bit lower ADP. Like Tim's dead right. You know, if you can get him in the middle of first round, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
And Jay had a question for you. He wanted to know how much Coop could a Cooper Kupp if a Cooper Kupp could Kupp Coop.
oh man, I would say probably all of it.
He could cup all the Coop.
Yeah, I think all of it.
That's a lot of Coop. I couldn't cup all of it when I tried.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's why he's the 101. Well, guys, we are going to move on to our next puzzle here now. Puzzle number 5. This is an NFL player band mashup. And I know Dustin is not watching, but Dustin, if you're watching this back, this is credit to Dustin. Dustin sent in this puzzle over Discord last week, and I've been giggling about it ever since. Who solved that one? Tim solved that one, which means Joey, you are up first. Would you like a question or would you like to solve?
Question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, my question for you is who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Amari Cooper or was it Brandon Ayuk?
Brandon Ayuk.
I'm sorry. It was Amari Cooper with 150 more yards.
You keep saying this, yet you've not shown your math, Simon.
I know.
So I don't know if I should believe you or just walk blindly into the next question. I don't know.
Joey, it's we can talk after the show, but I have been lying to you the entire time. This has been this
it would
has been
make
a mass
sense. Just trying to push me
gaslighting
down, keep me
experiment
down. No, I
to see
get it.
how long you could actively gaslight someone into thinking they're terrible at trivia before
And I'm
they
so effing gullible. So you picked the right person. Well done, Simon Grunewald, or however the hell you say your last name.
Well, John, Luke, and Nick, it is your turn. Team NYC, you want a question or you want to solve this?
I think Nick can solve this.
Yeah. Just give me like 30 minutes.
I was about to be shocked.
Here's your first question. Who had more receiving yards last year? Was it TJ Hawkinson or was it Zay Jones?
Ooh. My heart tells me Zay,
Let's follow your heart.
but my body tells me.
I don't have a good read on this. Why can't you give us the Amari Cooper question, Simon?
Yeah, can you give us that one again?
Yeah. 1 second.
Zay had a lot in Jacksonville.
He had
It was
such
like
a good year.
consistent.
Yeah, let's go Zay. Let's go. Zay
All right.
Bebe. Let's
Give
go.
us consistent Zay Jones.
Well, good news, guys.
That's all.
Jeff's turn because it was TJ Hawkinson. I apologize.
Got him.
TJ Hawkinson's 914 to Zay Jones 813. Also, we got Craig down here saying Simon isn't even his real name. If you can figure it out,
Zay.
it's the answer to this puzzle is my real name. Jeff, we're back to you. Would you like a question or would you like to solve this one?
I would like a question.
Who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards? Was it Chris Godwin or was it Mark Andrews?
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin is correct. Which letter would you like?
Give me a G.
A G. There's no G's in this puzzle.
Wow. That sent me. I thought I had. Okay.
I apologize. You've had some shit letter luck, Jeff. You're nailing the trivia.
I would prefer to get the trivia correct and miss the letter, to be honest, because I'm try to be a fantasy analyst out here, so I'm showing you that I know the football. I just don't know anything about letters.
Screw the alphabet.
What you should do, Jeff, is miss them both and make people wonder why you're even here. That's my method. That's what I do.
That happens a lot too.
Tim, are you ready for your first question?
Yeah, let's do it.
We go. Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Chris Olave or was it Deontay Johnson?
I hope it's Deontay.
Well, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. It was Chris Olave, which means, Joey, we're on to you. You ready?
Thank you for all the help, panel, to get me some letters. Question, please.
Joey, who had more receiving yards last season? Who had more receiving yards last season?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Mike Williams or was it Mike Evans?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is correct. Which letter would you like?
1,000 yards every year. Except for this year. T.
T. There are no T's in this puzzle.
I walked into that.
Brutal.
You just said I'd rather get the question right and miss the letter. Team NYC. Nick, it's been about 30 minutes. You got the answer yet?
No, another 30, please. Rack the clock back up.
Start the timer over.
Yeah. Question, please.
Here's your question. Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Evan Ingram or was it Drake London?
My heart tells me Evan Ingram.
I think it was Ingram.
I don't know if we can trust my heart.
Your heart is telling you a Jacksonville receiver again. Problematic.
Yeah.
You know what? We can't flop twice on the Jags receivers. Let's go Ingram.
Okay. All right. Ingram.
Final answer?
Yep.
You guys just keep proving that anything is possible. You flopped twice on Jacksonville receivers. It was not Evan Ingram. It was Drake London with 866, which means, Jeff, we are on to you. 66. You ready?
Bro.
Yes.
He's about to just get up and walk out. Come over here, unplug my laptop, break the door down. Jeff, here's your question. Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Terry McLaurin or was it A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown is correct. Which letter would you like?
R.
R.
No.
There are no R's.
I got it.
Torture.
Tim.
Another question.
Tim, would you like a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Solve it, Tim.
Here is your question. Who had more receiving yards last season? Was it Dallas Goedert or was it Tyler Boyd?
Oh, God. Goddard.
I'm sorry, Tim. It was Tyler Boyd, which means, Joey, we are on to you.
I think I can solve.
Okay.
Wow. Please.
Led Bailey Zappelin.
It is Led Bailey Zappelin. Joey, nice job, my friend.
Dustin's an old man like me, so I was thinking old man bands. And once the was gone, Led was all that was left.
I was trying Led and Def. I was like, how did we get here?
Just kept thinking of that ABC Michael Jackson song. And that just got stuck in my head.
Nick's over here like working his ass off to solve the puzzle, and JL's like, Jeff killing the trivia, but you got betrayed by the RSTLNEs. Joey, before we move on from this one, you got this one right. I need you to be honest with me.
Okay.
Do I need to leave all of my Bailey Zappi hype and hopes in the 2022 NFL season, or can I carry some of them with me?
I think if you're in Dynasty and you're gonna carry like a fourth quarterback or a third quarterback, there's definitely worse options. I don't think we should give up on him just yet.
Jeff, Stetson Bennett or Bailey Zappi in Dynasty?
Bailey Zappi over Stetson Bennett for me. I think there's a chance that Zappi takes the job from Mac Jones this year.
Man, I was really hoping you would say Stetson Bennett. I made that pick in Dynasty on emotion yesterday, and I'm regretting it. Anybody else want to validate that pick since Jeff's unwilling to do so? Okay, next puzzle. We're going to load up puzzle number 6 here. Guys, we got time for at least one more. This next category is called Shit Announcers Say. This is going to be something that sports announcers say on...
Oh, I don't know, Jim.
That's a great one. Also, we had Grim fan in the chat getting Lead Bailey's Applin. Nice job, Grim.
Nice.
All right.
Delicious.
Joey solved that one right, which means Team NYC, you guys are up first in this one. You want a question or you want to solve this?
Question.
Okay. What I want to know is who did the Jacksonville Jaguars beat in the wild card round of this year's playoffs?
God, can you leave us alone?
They beat the Chargers, didn't they?
Oh, wait, that was the
Remember
question.
They had that comeback?
Was it the Chargers?
I'm almost positive. Yeah. I think T-Law had like 4 touchdowns in the second half. They came back.
It sounds like the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the Chargers.
Right away, and then,
Who is the Los Angeles Chargers?
what is
The
it?
Chargers is absolutely correct. Which letter would you like?
You guessed it right. You get to guess the letter. That's
T.
T. There are 3 T's in this puzzle.
Yes.
Going to add 1,500 to your score. You want to buy a vowel? You want to take your next question, or do you want to solve this puzzle?
Could be worth getting a vowel here.
Could it?
Yeah, it's a short puzzle.
We don't have a lot of budget here.
No, we don't.
We got to maximize the revenue. Let's take another question.
It's gonna be a Jacksonville question.
Those are our best types of questions.
All right, take another question.
Okay, what I want to know is who had more passing yards last season? Who had more passing yards last season? Was it Kirk Cousins or was it Trevor Lawrence?
Kirk Cousins. Final answer.
Nick taking control here. In jail, maybe you should let him be the alpha because that is absolutely correct. Which letter do you want, Daddy?
Don't do that.
Let's go with an N. As in nipple. N as in nipple.
There's one N in this puzzle. Going to add 500. This is your last opportunity to buy vowels this turn, or we can move on to your third and final question.
Oh, got it.
You want to take another question, or do you think we could do vowels?
Up to you. I feel like you're the strategy guy here. So let me rip on questions.
All right, let's buy one vowel and see valves here. Let's go with an E.
An E. There are 3 E's in this puzzle.
Better not mess up.
Going to subtract 300. Would you like your third and final question? Would you like to solve, or would you like to buy another vowel?
Can we buy an A?
You may. Yeah, I got enough money. There's 1 A in this puzzle.
Can we buy an I?
You can buy an I. There's 1 I in this puzzle.
Over here.
Can we buy an O?
Stop.
You can buy an O. This is a couple who has a joint bank account.
I'd like to solve.
Okay,
I'd like to
we'll
solve.
Okay.
He just wanted it more.
It is. He just wanted it more is the correct answer.
You somehow lost money on this round.
It's going to have 1,400 year round bank. Nick, you buy into any of this coach speak? Is there any coach speak or announcer speak during the offseason that you actually put weight in? Like whenever they come out, like he's a student of the game, he just wanted it more. He's working his ass off at practice, or do you throw it all in the garbage?
No, I mean, nothing specific. I think there's like two things that I would actually keep an eye on. One, I feel like most coaches are so wildly optimistic about everything. So if they come out and say negative things about a player, that's something to keep an eye on. And then typically from the positive side of things, when you start, like if I hear one report about a player, he looks good, whatever, don't care. But if you start hearing it from multiple, like where there's smoke, there's fire typically. So if you start hearing players come out, coaches come out, people on the team, trainers and stuff, they're all saying the same thing. I tend to start buying into that narrative because that's probably true because you're starting to see it at multiple practices during different games, during, training camp, whatever. So I feel like for the positive, you need a ton of reinforcement in order for me to start buying into it. For the negative, most people just don't speak negative. So if they start, then that's a red flag for me.
Yeah, our chat cat coming in agreeing with you, saying negative coach speak is an immediate red flag.
Yeah.
All right, well, guys, we got time for one more puzzle here. We're going to jump into it. Jeff, you are going first on this one. This is our last one. The category here is NFL teammates. So these are players that are on the same NFL team. Jeff, would you like a question or would you like to solve this puzzle?
I would like a question, please.
Okay. What I want to know, Jeff, is who did the Cincinnati Bengals beat in the wild card round of this year's NFL playoffs?
In the wild card round, who did the Bengals beat? The Ravens.
Bengals did beat the Ravens in the wild card round. Which letter would you like?
S.
An S.
No.
How are there no S's?
I'm so sorry.
I watched that game with you.
We did.
Yeah.
I watched that game and I watched the end in the bar with Dave in the Las Vegas airport, the fumble.
Jeff, this is statistically improbable what you've pulled off here the past couple
Yeah.
questions. You're
Very impressed with my ability to know things and also not know things.
the duality of Jeff. Tim, you ready for your first question?
Yeah.
Here is your question. Who did the Buffalo Bills beat in the first round of the wild card, or who did the Buffalo Bills beat in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs this year?
Rude. Dolphins, you rude.
Oh, that is rude. I forgot you were a Dolphins fan for a moment. Tim, which letter would you like?
How about give me an L?
L.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's one
all right.
L in this puzzle. Going to add 500. What's up next, Tim?
Question.
Okay. My question for you is, who had more passing yards last season? Who had more passing yards? Was it Derek Carr or was it Geno Smith?
Geno.
It was absolutely Geno. Tim, which letter would you like?
How about an N as in Geno?
There are 4 N's as in Geno, Tim. That's going to add $2,000 to your round bank. Would you like a question? Would you like to buy a vowel? Or would you like to solve?
Let me get a vowel. Let's go with an A.
An A. There are 4 A's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 400 from your round score.
Oh no.
Would you like to buy another vowel? Would you like another question? Would you like to solve?
Yeah, give me another vowel. Give me an I.
An I. There are 2 I's in this puzzle. Going to subtract 200. Your options remain the same, Tim.
E.
Oh, you're buying an E as well?
Yep.
Tim trying to do what Team NYC did in the last round. It's going to subtract 200 more.
Bill Clark. Clark.
Question?
I got it.
Give me an O.
An O. There are 2 O's in this puzzle, and that is all of the vowels. Tim, you either need to solve this puzzle or take your last question. What would you like to do?
I hate myself right now. I
Take it.
gotta get a question.
Here is your question, Tim. What I want to know is, who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Who scored more PPR fantasy points last season? Was it Dawson Knox or was it Devin Duvernay?
Oh no.
What an awful question I just asked you. Just terrible.
Duvernay, please.
I'm sorry, Tim. No! Dawson Knox is moving on to Joey.
I would like to solve for the win.
For the win, Joey.
These are new Carolina Panthers teammates, Jonathan Mingo and Adam Thielen.
These are new Carolina Panthers teammates, Jonathan Mingo and Adam Thielen. And Joey, it's fitting you solve this because I know you're a big Mingo fan. Joey, that's going to give you $1,000 and the victory in today's game. Before you move off of this one, Jeff, I wanted to get your opinion on new rookie wide receiver Jonathan Mingo there in Carolina. It seems crowded, but there's some hype around him in a pretty uncertain wide receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're buying. You're buying uncertainty. You're buying a guy that they took early in the second round, and you're hoping that he emerges. He gets the extra camp with Bryce Young. He's going through everything with Bryce Young. So you're hoping that those 2 rookies hook up and form a quick connection. I'm not super sold because Mingo was not a productive college player, but there's just so much uncertainty and so much opportunity with Carolina right now.
Shout out Anna in the chat getting that one right. Grim fan as well. Anna's been killing it before our contestants are getting it in there. Nick,
it's not 4:00.
Nick, if you're picking one of these Carolina wide receivers to roster next season, which one is it?
Just for redraft. This is disgusting.
Terrace Marshall is the answer. Terrace.
I actually probably would take Terrace Marshall. I think he's got some explosiveness to him. I think Jonathan Mingo is a little bit raw as a player. I don't know how quickly he's going to come on, so I feel like we might not really see much of Mingo. I could see him being like a 40% snap guy for 6 to 8 weeks. And I feel like Thielen will just be kind of like a safety valve there for Bryce Young for a while. So I could see him finishing with like a really boring 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. So I don't want it, but I'll take Thielen, I guess.
So we got Dave Kluge down here saying, Jeff, Joey, can you guys wrap it up? I'm waiting for you. Dave, you will wait as long as I keep them. They're playing with me now. You got to wait your turn, man. That is going to be it for our game, though. Joey, a big congratulations on pulling that W off. Nick,
pulling W's.
Nick and Jeff. Oops, I accidentally took them off. I meant to take the game board off instead. Nick and Jeff, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us on this Friday afternoon.
I mean, technically, you came and hang out with me, so I'd like to thank you. Actually,
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Well, then, Jeff, I rescind my thanks to Nick, and I give it all to you. All the gratitude is yours on this Friday.
You're
I
much too
appreciate you
kind,
hanging out with
Simon.
us.
No, you're much too kind. I love you guys, appreciate you guys, and can support you any way I can.
Everybody watching, if you're not already following our friend Guest, make sure you go and follow him on Twitter at @ForWhomJBellTolls. Like we said at the beginning, it's right there on the screen below his face. So you can find the link in our YouTube channel. And then check out what they're making over there at BDGE. We're going to be in some of the stuff they're putting out this weekend, but they're always putting out that fun stuff. And if you like the game show stuff that we do here, they've got trivia that we are not good at on their TikTok channel. So make sure you go and check that out. It is beyond our capabilities.
You're acting like there's trivia that we are good at.
We're good at like McDonald's advertising character trivia and like Pokemon and Zelda trivia and fantasy after 2021 trivia. But you move us away from those categories, it's not going well. That is going to be it for us today, guys. Before we move on, though, if you're looking for some betting advice right up here after this on this show on BSN, you can join Dan Servo-Didio and Howard Bender for Better Sports Betting. They're going to give you some betting lines, some tips and picks for all of tonight's games and everything coming up this weekend. That is it for the Front Yard Fantasy Crew today. We'll be back on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern time for more fantasy football game show fun. Until then, adios, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
We love you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. So, like, do you think like 14.5 over under farts? Simon's drilled into that.